How you doing, guys? December 9th, Wednesday. Not exactly breaking news, but easily the most interesting story of today is the fact that now not just the Trump administration, but Texas, a state as a whole, is filing a lawsuit with the Supreme Court to throw out the electoral votes for several states that they're saying conducted their elections against the constitutional outline for presidential elections, which we know that they did. That's been kind of common knowledge. The question that has been presenting itself is whether or not it was okay to make those changes in the imminence of the pandemic. And that's what they used as a smokescreen to get this stuff underway, to be able to sway the election the way they wanted. This came through. There's a saying in politics, never let a good disaster go to waste. This pandemic came through. No matter who you believe caused it or pushed it, they took advantage of it and pressed through several last-minute election laws that were not constitutional and that weren't put into effect by state legislators. They were put into effect by people who essentially did not have the authority to make sweeping decisions like that. It was just unanimously accepted because the deadline was so close and we were in the middle of a disaster. Now, when the Trump administration was trying to say these exact same things, then they were just touted off as basically whining about losing and bringing up laws too late to have any legitimacy. Well, now it's not the Trump administration. There is a state within the United States of America, one of the 50, that is saying, we believe this was done against the Constitution and we're not okay with it. Now, there's 50 states, and Texas doesn't exactly have the most as far as the electoral votes to be a superpower as far as what you might want to say in the election process. But wait, there's more. 17 other states have submitted briefs to stand with Texas to take this to the Supreme Court. Mark my words, if the Supreme Court ignores this or throws it out, you will know that we no longer live in a system that is being governed by the rules that is outlined by its own constitution. We have swayed away and we are under a communist, socialist rule. Not it's gonna come, not they're gonna make it happen. It's already happened. They've just been doing it behind the scenes. You need to understand this because this is very important. You will know that this is all over if the Supreme Court ignores 18 states. That is when one kind of person is in power, running everything and telling everybody else, I don't care what you think, we're gonna do it this way. All right, by the way, so the states that they're wanting the electoral votes thrown out of because they feel that the election in those states was done unconstitutionally were Michigan, Georgia, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Now, Michigan has 16 electoral votes, Georgia has 16 electoral votes, Wisconsin has 10 electoral votes, and Pennsylvania has 20. That's a grand total of 62 electoral votes. So if those get thrown out, Trump retains office. Now, as for the people standing with Texas, by the way, our President Donald Trump has said that he is going to stand with Texas and push for this suit to be heard and lend his own administration to this suit along with these states. But along with the states standing with Texas are Missouri, Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Utah, and West Virginia. These are 18 states. And by the way, there's probably more that want to, but you gotta understand some of these states are in places that have such a liberal push inside of them that if their leaders stood with this movement, they would face such a backlash. Some of them would be assaulted and hurt, if not much worse. You've got to understand the extremity of the situation we find ourselves in. Mark Jason Tickle's words on Reality Unplugged. If this goes to the Supreme Court and it gets thrown out, then you will know this is no longer a democracy. We are no longer living in a republic. We will be living in a socialist, communist regime. And you better watch out, because the first people they're going to come for are us. They've got us marked. They've got us pegged. They've got us tagged. You don't really have the option anymore of saying, I just don't care. Everything's on the line. Your way of life is on the line. Our belief system is on the line. The way we live our lives is on the line. And I'm going to start talking about this a lot more, because it's really the cornerstone of why I stand where I stand. There's a lot of the politics that I could care less about. They can go either way. A lot of it falls under kind of a libertarian mindset with me. Do whatever you want to do, just stay off my property and let me do what I'm going to do. And I understand that's not the best, but you have to understand that if we don't fight against this, now here's something else you might want to understand. In the past, the socialistic and communistic regimes that have taken over other countries have been supposedly conservative regimes. People who are holding to very old and very traditional values within the country and within the belief system that they had. The regime that is trying to turn America socialist and communistic is liberal. So whereas in Russia, a woman might be forced under communist rule to dress very modestly and things like that, and you might have harsher laws against drug use and crime. In America, these things are going to be not only encouraged, but you will be separated and segregated out for not participating in them. A straight couple that is not mixed will be looked down on and considered racist and small-minded. Children who are called by a specific gender, your family will be looked down on and considered small-minded and bigotist. Now, I'm going to take a risk here because I know who my audience is. I am not racist. I don't believe in a racist system. I don't believe in separating people out and hurting them for what they believe. I believe that no matter what skin color you are, you should be able to marry who you love, depending on no matter what their skin color is, according to the way that the Bible lays it out, under a godly Christian system. It's when somebody tells you that if you don't do something out of the norm, that you're the bad person, that it's wrong. And that's where we're headed. Watch the skies, watch the news. Don't let this pass us by. Stand for what's right and keep your eyes on the Supreme Court, because that's when you'll know. Everybody, let's pray for each other. Let's pray for President Trump. Let's pray for our nation as a whole. And let's see God do something miraculous in our country.